Magandang araw mga kaibigan, kababayan. Nasaan man kayo, I hope everything is doing fine sa inyo on a very, very beautiful Thursday afternoon po. Afternoon tayo ngayon, hindi tayo nag-morning program dahil may mga appointments tayo dito po. No? Dito po sa lugar namin, dito sa Sabah, East Malaysia, specifically dito po sa Kota Kinabalu City, sa Malaysia ito po, no? And si Nico Fabian, once again, would like to invite each and every one of you, wherever you are, no, to participate or to join in my program, Nick Talk, the Real Talk with Nico. And of course, today, my very important topic tayo ngayon, and I just want to ask a question from my followers, no? Mga viewers ng Nick Talk, The Real Talk with Nico, and the answer is very simple. Multiple choice lang po. Multiple choice lang po. Itong issue natin po is regarding ang Pilipinas. Anong klaseng gobyerno mayroon tayo sa Pinas or sa Pilipinas? Ha? Sa Pilipinas. Anong klaseng gobyerno? No? Yes, we know we are practicing ang presidential or democratic form of government, presidential form of government, dahil po mayroon tayong presidente, mayroon tayong vice president, mayroon tayong executive, we have our executive, we have our legislative, and we have our judicial system po dyan sa Pilipinas. But anong klase talaga ngayon ang gobyerno sa Pilipinas? No? Anong klase talaga? And ang answer dito po, multiple choice lang, and kayo nang bahala po. I will try to explain, elaborate further, itong komentaryo ng, as what I mentioned, ang sabihin natin, ang idol ko, si Ted Filon dyan sa Pilipinas, very respectable media man, personalities dyan sa Pilipinas or sa Manila, and former congressman din siya, no? Dyan sa lower house ng Philippines, and mayroon siyang very, very, para sa akin, very important issues that he mentioned yesterday during his program, ang Ted Filon program, together with DJ Shasha. And yes, I want to see, no, and feel ang feelings ng mga Filipinos dito po sa Sabah, and of course dyan po sa Pilipinas, and mga overseas Filipinos, mga kababayan ko sa ibang nasyon dito sa mundo natin. And let's see ang komentaryo ni Ted Filon, and from there I will try to explain further a little bit of whatever knowledge I have regarding itong issue ni Ted Filon. Anong klaseng gobyerno mayroon tayo dyan sa Pilipinas ngayon under the administration of President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos, Romualdez Marcos Jr. po. And please join me and listen to this program, because it involves not only me, but also involves you, your children, and the children's and the next generations and generations to come. Very important issue ito po, and kayo nang bahala po, no? To answer ang multiple choice question ko for this episode. Shoutout muna tayo kay Jojo Rabia. And thank you very much, Jo, for watching my program. And God bless you. God bless to your husband. God bless to your children. And more power sa kompanya ninyo po, no? Ni Jojo. More power to you, and wish you all the best. Godspeed. Okay, let's start our topic for today. And today, first and foremost, unang sa lahat, I would like to share with you itong video clip ni Ted Filon, wherein he's talking about anong klaseng gobyerno mayroon tayo dyan sa Pilipinas ngayon. Anong klaseng gobyerno mayroon tayo dyan sa Pilipinas ngayon. Let's listen to this. It won't take too long. And from there, we will try to see kung pwede pa rin ako with my little knowledge I have na anong klaseng gobyerno mayroon tayo, and I will try to explain it, no, briefly, kung anong klaseng mga form of a government si Ted Filon mentioned in his, sabihin natin na komentaryo or commentary, no, sa programa niya, ang Ted Filon program. Every day ito, from Monday to Friday, 6 o'clock hanggang 10 o'clock. Let's listen first to this. Let's listen.
Gobyernong pinatatakbo
Hold on ha, start tayo.
mayayaman kung saan nakahari
Sandali.
sila ng
Aha.
dahil sa kanilang taglay na kayaman.
Sandali. We'll start from here. Okay, let's listen to this.
Demokrasya nga ba ang tunay na umiiral sa bansang ito?
Sa bansang Pilipinas.
Alin sa mga sumusunod? Aristocracy. Forma ng gobyerno kung saan ang namamahala ay ang kakaunti o minorya. Pero mga nasa pinakaitaas na antas ng lipunan. Oligarchy. Isang klase ng gobyerno na pinatatakbo ng piling mga tao na ang intensyon ay korap at makasarili. Plutocracy. Gobyernong pinatatakbo ng mga taong mayayaman kung saan naghahari sila ng dahil sa kanilang taglay na kayamanan. Kleptocracy. Isang uri ng pamamalakad sa gobyerno ng mga taong lulong sa korupsyon, mga taong ginagamit ang posisyon sa gobyerno para magkamal ng yaman sa kapinsalaan ng taong bayan. O kakristocracy. From the Greek word kakristo, meaning worst. Government by the worst. Isang uri ng gobyernong pinatatakbo ng pinakawalang kakayahan, pinakawalang kwentang mga tao. Ano sa palagay niyo? Anong klase? Anong uri ng gobyerno meron tayo ngayon sa Pilipinas? Bayan, mag-isip na po tayong mabuti. Think about it.
Bayan, mag-isip na tayo mabuti. Think about it. Yon po ang komentaryo ni, it's a long commentary ni Ted Filon, and he was talking about anong klaseng, based on his experience, observations dyan sa Pilipinas, and he is now asking ang Pilipinos, no? Ang mga kababayan, what do you think? Anong klaseng gobyerno mayroon tayo sa Pilipinas? Anong klaseng gobyerno mayroon tayo sa Pilipinas? So later on, I will try to explain to you because he mentioned about aristocracy. Ano ba itong aristocracy? Plutocracy, kleptocracy, and kakistocracy. Ano ba yan? Later on to, I am going to explain to you with my little knowledge. I'm sorry po, kunting knowledge lang tayo dito, but I think it will be able to, sabihin natin, give you an idea, and make a firm decision, clear decision po. Anong klaseng gobyerno mayroon tayo ngayon sa Pilipinas? This is not sabihin natin, issue that parang biro-biro lang po, no? This is a very serious issue po. I think it's about time for us to know what kind of a government, ang gobyerno mayroon tayo dyan sa Pilipinas. Why I'm saying this? It is because kailangan tayo po to understand anong klaseng gobyerno mayroon tayo ngayon sa Pilipinas, dahil po we are going to choose again ang mga leaders natin po for another 3 years term, no? Sa Kongreso, sa Senado, sa local positions po come May 12, May 12 ang midterm election. So kailangan na kailangan po, we have to know what kind of government mayroon tayo ngayon sa Pilipinas. Kailangan ba to change them or to still keep them and maintain anong klaseng gobyerno mayroon tayo ngayon sa Pilipinas. But before I will touch on this issue, Father, let me share with you another video clip. No? And this time around, ang privilege speech made by isang opposition dyan sa Kongreso, ang opposition si Congresswoman Franz Castro. No? Franz Castro. Listen to this also po. Very important. You listen to this and then we will discuss ang issue na anong klaseng gobyerno mayroon tayo sa Pilipinas. So, let me share with you and ito po, si Franz Castro, fresh from the Congress, ang privilege speech niya po, which she just recently delivered. Let's listen to this. Let's listen to this carefully. And pasensya lang po, those who are pro-Marcos, pasensya lang po if you will be heard of masaktan kayo sa speech ni Congresswoman Franz Castro. And for those who support the Duterte clan, kasi whether we like it or not, ang issue ngayon dyan sa Pilipinas is the Marcoses and the Dutertes. No? Plus yun mga sino-sino mga supporters, mga politicians sa Marcoses, sa Romualdez, and sino nagsusupport kay Digong, the former president of the Philippines, ang anak niya, ang vice president natin, incumbent vice president natin, si VP Sara, at saka ang partido nila. Partido nila. Now, walang personalan ito. This is just, I want to share this with you para at least mga voters, especially mga voters, you will have an idea and it will be able to guide you kung paano kayo po will vote come May 12 sa midterm election. Let's first listen to this. Ito na po.
I rise today on a matter
Hold on,
of
Hold on.
I rise today on a matter of urgent national importance. The Filipino are suffering and the Marcos administration has failed them. The latest social weather station survey or the SWS survey reveals that 63% of the Filipino families now consider themselves poor, the highest rate in over 2 decades. This is not just a statistic. It is a damning indictment of this administration's economic policies. Sa kabila ng pagtaas ng presyo ng mga pangunahing bilihin at serbisyo, nananatiling walang ginagawa ang Administrasyong Marcos. Hinahayaan ang mga Pilipino na magdusa. Sumisipa ang presyo ng kuryente, tubig, natataas mula sa 4 na piso hanggang 5 piso kada cubic meter sa buwang ito. At langis na tataas na naman uli ng halos piso kada litro. Tataas ang pamasahe sa LRT na aabot ng 12.50 or 12 pesos and 50 centavos sa maximum at may pagtaas na naman ang premium ng SSS. Pero sinasabi ng Malacanang, napabayaan muna ito. Anong klaseng gobyerno ang pumapayag na maghirap ang kanyang mamamayan? The situation is particularly dire in Mindanao, where self-rated poverty has reached a staggering 76%. So this region, a vital agricultural hub that feeds the nation, has been grossly neglected. Farmers and fisher folks are struggling to survive as the government prioritizes massive importation over local production. The rice tarification law has devastated our rice industry, leaving farmers unable to compete with the cheap imported rice. Meanwhile, the National Food Authority's original mandate to establish the food prices has been gutted, leaving our people vulnerable to exploitation. Dapat na ibasura ang rice tarification law at ibalik sa kagyat ang original function ng National Food Authority. Hindi na ubra ang 60 pesos maximum suggested retail price ng bigas, lalo pa itong nag-aanyaya ng pagsasamantala, Mr. Speaker. The Marcos administration's reliance on temporary aid and band-aid solution is not enough. We need long-term structural reforms to address the root causes of poverty. We call for a national industrialization plan that will create stable jobs, provide livable wages, and support our farmers. We must also hold accountable the oil companies that manipulate fuel prices, driving inflation, and pushing our people deeper into poverty. With the aim of lowering oil prices in the country, Malacanang should certify as urgent the lower oil price bill packages, which is as follows: House Bill 400, the lower oil price bill; House Bill 3003, or the renationalization of Petron bill; House Bill 3004, or the unbundling oil prices bill; House Bill 3005, the centralized procurement of petroleum bill; House Bill 3006, to regulate the downstream oil industry. These bills were first filed by Bayan Muna Party List in the previous Congresses, and hopes that now they will finally be enacted to stop runaway oil prices. The government's failure to address these issues is compounded by its mismanagement of public funds. Pork barrel allocations continue to enrich political allies, while critical social services like healthcare, education, and disaster resilience remain underfunded. The national debt has ballooned to 16 trillion pesos, yet there has been little improvement in key sectors such as the agriculture, education, and healthcare. To make matters worse, the Marcos administration refuses to implement a significant wage increase despite the rising cost of living. Workers are left unable to cope with inflation, while unemployment remains high, especially in impoverished regions like Mindanao. These devastating economic policies are no longer sustainable and should be stopped. Pork barrel spending must be abolished, and funds must be redirected to strengthen the basic services such as healthcare, education, and disaster resilience. We must rebuild robust rural economies and replace debt dependency with sustainable fiscal policies that ensure long-term growth and genuinely uplift the poor.
Okay, yon po ang privilege speech ni Congresswoman Fran Castro, and she's talking about issues. Ang realidad, what is happening dyan sa Pilipinas. I totally agree with her, and yes, she is one congressman na also hindi natatakot to say something na nakikita nila o nakikita niya na something is wrong sa administration ni Bongbong Marcos. I totally agree. She mentioned some issues there, and we will talk later on, no? About the issues that she also mentioned during her privilege speech. In the meantime, shout out muna tayo kay Rex Baclar, who is also watching itong programa natin, ang Nick Talk, the Real Talk with Nico. Kung nasan man si Rex, no? Dito sa Sabah, I would like to say salamat pagi, salamat patang, and salamat malam to you, and of course to your family, and lahat na mga kababayan ko dito po sa Sabah, particularly dito po sa Kota Kinabalu City. Ito pa po, listen to very briefly ang statement ni Congresswoman Fran Castro. Sandali lang po, andito.
I rise today on a matter of urgent
Hold on,
national importance.
Hold on.
The Filipino
Medyo,
are suffering, and the Marcos
okay.
administration.
Ito po. Let's listen. I totally agree with her.
Mr. Speaker, the Filipino people deserve better. They deserve a government that prioritizes their welfare over the interests of big businesses and political elites. They deserve a government that listens, acts, and delivers. Dapat kumilos na ang gobyerno ngayon para maiwasan ang karagdagang pagdurusa ng ating mga mamamayan. Nananawagan ang kinatawang ito na agarang aksyon para kontrolin ang pagtaas ng presyo ng mga pangunahing bilihin at suriin ang mga patakarang pang-ekonomiya na hindi makakatulong sa ating mga kababayan. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Madam Congresswoman Franz Castro, for a very, very beautiful, sabihin natin, realistic, practical, logic, privileged speech which she just delivered dyan sa Kongreso. No? Dyan sa Kongreso. Maganda, excuse me, maganda po. No? Maganda. Anyway, let's go back to Ted Filon. Ang issue natin about the komentaryo ni Ted Filon regarding what kind of government, anong klaseng gobyerno mayroon tayo sa Pilipinas. Of course, okay na yan. Presidential, we have this executive branch, we have the legislative branch, and the judiciary. So, we are a democratic country, no? Democratic country tayo po. But anong klase ngayon? How the government, ang administrasyon ni Bongbong Marcos is managing the country. Karamihan po ng mga Filipinos based on let's put aside muna ang mainstream media, no? Because in the mainstream media, sorry to say I'm also part of the mainstream media. But ako dito po sa Malaysia, dito ako po sa Sabah. Now, nakikita po ang mainstream media dyan sa Pilipinas, medyo, I would not say siguro they are totally biased. But siguro may takot lang sila po. They have to protect themselves. Ang kumpanya, baka ang franchise permit nila will be suspended. Will be suspended. Kahit if you see, some broadcasters, commentators, media men dyan sa Pilipinas, very vocal, and some were being killed, no? And others were, the program has been suspended by the present administration, which I'm referring to the administration of Bongbong Marcos, President Bongbong Marcos. So, the other source that we can get, although very dangerous din po because it's not properly edited, no? Ang social media natin po, ang mga vloggers natin po, no? So that is a good source also of news. But of course, I said sometimes pumapasok na ang mga fake news dyan because of some selfish motives, no? Or maybe being supported by some people na may power dyan sa Pilipinas, and they are asked to say things which will just confuse the Filipino community or nation. And anyway, sige lang po. Let's start with this thing. Dito po sa Nico, the Real Talk with Nico, I'm very careful also on the fake news po kasi I don't want that my followers will, sabihin natin, will be misguided due to itong mga fake news po, no? Okay, let's talk about Ted Filon. He mentioned about aristocracy, governance. He is talking about plutocracy. He's talking about kleptocracy. And of course, kakistocracy. No? Na ano ba ito? I suppose many of us or many of you really don't understand itong aristocracy. What is aristocracy? No? Okay. When we talk about aristocracy, this is the form of government. This is a government by a relatively small privileged class. Kunti lang yun po. Ang mga tao form the government belonging to a particular class in the society or by a minority consisting of those presumed to be best qualified to rule the country. That is what we call aristocracy. Now, example for aristocracy. Anong klaseng or saan this kind of government we have dito sa mundo po when we talk about aristocracy governance? I'll give you an example. One good example is Brunei Darussalam. No? It is being ruled. It is being ruled by a sultan. A sultan, ang pamilya niya po. No? Ang pamilya niya is ruling the country. And whatever he says, everybody will follow. Maganda ito po sana kung ang sultan or the leader of this particular country is really sabihin natin sincere in protecting the interests of his people. Just like in Brunei, we can see why the Sultanate of Brunei is being loved by his people. It is because ang Sultan, Hassan al-Bolkiah, is really concerned on the welfare and interest of his people. I worked in Brunei for a few years and I saw how Sultan really care for his people. And that is the reason why Brunei, although this is a tiny, oil-rich country, pero ang mga tao doon po, mayaman po. No? Mayaman. Mayaman po. Another example is Saudi Arabia, ruled by a king. No? That is what you call aristocracy, governance. No? And of course, mayroon pa isang country is Aztec Empire. The Aztec Empire, ganon din. So that is example of aristocracy governance or government. No? Kagaya sa Brunei. That is what is happening. And kung okay talaga ang king nila, kagaya sa Saudi Arabia, okay ang king nila, although they belong from a very small class lang po, family, but they are so rich and they really take good care of the people. Alright? Now, the other thing, my question is, are we, or Philippines, practicing aristocracy, governance? Definitely hindi, di ba? Definitely hindi. Okay, the other thing, multiple choice, letter B. Aristocracy is A. Now, we go to letter B. Letter B is oligarchy. Oligarchy. What is oligarchy? Governance or government. It is a government by the few. Again, by the few, especially despotic power exercised by a small and privileged group for corrupt or selfish purposes. Yan po. Example, South Africa is practicing this kind of, sabihin natin, oligarchy. Governance. Ang Liberia, and of course, some parts in Russia. So, is Philippines considered practicing oligarchy governance? Malayo, hindi ba po? Malayo. Okay, next. Letter C. Plutocracy. Plutocracy. What is plutocracy? Plutocracy is a government by the wealthy. Gobyerno, yun para sa mayaman lang. Plutocracy governance or yields power through its money. They yield money through its money. And example is the ancient Greece, ang Venice, empires of Japan during the World War II. Yun po. That's how the country has been ruled. Plutocracy. You remember during the World War II, ang Japan, ang nasyon ng Japan, ang leader nila, everybody respect the leader and they follow because the leader is wealthy. Okay? Now, letter D. Okay, when we talk about letter C, pasok ba tayo dyan sa plutocracy? Hindi po. Hindi tayo pasok dyan. Obviously, hindi tayo pasok dyan. Okay, letter D. Kleptocracy. Kleptocracy. Ano ba itong kleptocracy? In politics, for your information, in politics, it is a form of government by individuals who primarily seek personal gains at the expense of those they govern. Anong ibig sabihin yon? It is, itong klaseng gobyerno, run by individuals who primarily seek personal gains. Yun para sa kanila muna, no? Personal gains. At the expense of those they govern, or at the expense of the people, Okay. Kleptocracy is a form of government corruption. But unlike more typical instances, such as a politician taking bribe, sa kleptocracy governance, ang mga leaders, they take bribes. They take bribes. Kleptocracy entails the systematic use of the government's power. They take bribes, they control power, they control the government through power. And through powers to enrich political leaders. Gusto nila, dyan sila, and then may power sila, andun ang pera, and they will give it to ang mga supporters nila po. Ang mga leaders nila po, the chosen few. Now, itong klaseng gobyerno po, sabihin natin, they disregard laws. They disregard laws. Lack of transparency. Lack of transparency. They will not tell you the truth. They will hide things. Dahil po, selfish motive nila po. And no accountability. And nandyan na po, pasok na ang cronyism and nepotism. Yan na po, mga pamilya-pamilya na lang nila po. So, this is what we call kleptocracy. Pasok ba ang Pilipinas? Ganun ba ang Pilipinas ngayon? Sa inyo po, what do you think? Kleptocracy, governance, government, ganon ba ang mga elected leaders natin po, ang ang presidente natin? Ganon ba? Ang members of the Congress, ang members of the Senate, ang mga governors, mga local politicians natin, ganon ba yan sila? They are just there to protect their leader who gives them things, a lot of things. A lot of things. Dahil may power sila po. You go against the government, against that leader, presidente ba siya, prime minister ba siya, or whoever, sultan ba siya, then you'll be in big trouble. Walang transparency. Walang accountability. Although they will be saying na ganito, na mayroon, we are honest and we are doing things for these things. Yeah, shoutout muna tayo kay Albi Marquez. I would like to say good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to my cousin si Albi Marquez. Mayroon din siya mga vlogging entitled Marque de Fonds. Marque de Fonds. Yeah, Albi, thank you very much. God bless you. God bless your wife, and God bless your daughter, and of course, the rest of our family, and of all Samoangeños din po, and Filipinos in general. So yan po. Ganon ang gobyerno ng kleptocracy. Kleptocracy. Yan po. Pasok ba ang Pilipinas? Pasok ba ang Pilipinas? Sa palagay ninyo po, what the present Marcos administration is doing now, ganon ba yun sila? Ganon ba yun sila? It is a form of government by individuals who primarily seek personal gain. Ang mga leaders natin now, sa top positions, are they seeking personal gains at the expense of ang mga tao, mga Filipinos? God bless you too, Jong. Yes, thank you very much, Albi. Thank you very much. Ganon ba yun? Is there any indication na ang leader natin, ang presidente natin, I'm not saying, I'm giving these questions sa inyo. Ganon ba ang presidente natin ngayon? Seeking personal gains at the expense of the Filipinos? And ang mga leaders natin, do they accept bribes? Corruption na yun po, di ba? Government of corruption na yun. Mayroon tayong mga news, narinig natin. It was published not only sa Pilipinas, but also it was broadcast and published sa other countries internationally, that there is a story on our speaker na involved sa bribe activity. Yun, Okada case ba yun? Something like that. Ganon ba yun? Is this the form of government that Philippines is now having? Do they disregard laws? You see? Kagaya sa national budget. Ang law, sinabi na ganito. Hindi pwede. Mas mataas pa ang PW o ang Public Works and Highway, ang budget nila sa education. Do they disregard laws? Lack of transparency? Itong ayuda nito that they are giving? No accountability? Ang ayuda? Mayroon mga nepotism? Para sa akin po, parang pasok tayo dyan. Parang pasok tayo dyan sa kleptocracy. Parang pasok tayo. I hope I'm wrong. No, I hope I'm wrong. But if in the event, parang nandun tayo, I think it's about time for us now, mga Filipinos, especially ang voters. We have, 75 qualified voters to participate in the May 12th election. May 12 midterm election. So, gising na po tayo. No? Gising na po tayo. And if we believe or you think that there is something wrong, then let's call the government. And let's make a wise decision for the future. For our future po. Not only for us, ang generation namin, but for the generations and generations to come. No? Generation. That's why I agree with Ted Filon when he mentioned about these issues. And this is the reason why I decided to come up with this topic today. The last one, form of governance, no, is the kakistocracy. Government by the least suitable or competent citizens of a state. The first part of the word comes from the Greek kakisto, meaning worse. So, kakistocracy means government by the worst. Wala talaga po. Walang hindi qualified kasi nandoon na sila sa they manage to get the government, no? But they are not qualified. And worse than government. Sana lang po ang Pilipinas will not have this kind of governance. So, the question is, anong klaseng gobyerno mayroon tayo ngayon sa Pilipinas? Answerable po. Multiple choice lang po. Ano na mga choices meron tayo o kayo po? One is aristocracy. Two is oligarchy. Three is plutocracy. Four is kleptocracy. And the last is kakistocracy. Kayo na pa bahala. Shoutout muna tayo kay Mary Lou Pentojo, who is also watching. Hi, good afternoon. Yes, good afternoon. God bless you and take good care of yourself. Take good care of yourself. So, ganun yan po. That is the situation po. No? And that is the big question. Kayo nang bahala po. Okay. To conclude itong programa natin ngayon, I will touch a little bit that kay Congresswoman Castro. Yes, I agree. I agree with her. When he started talking about the rising prices of essential goods sa Pilipinas. Sabi natin ang electricity, water bills natin continue to jack up, no? Ang bigas, mahal pa rin po, no? And of course, ang sabihin natin, ang sitwasyon ng mga Filipinos ngayon, no? Dumadami na, wala tayong trabaho, ha? Ang rate of unemployment, is still going up. Yet, sabi ni Congresswoman Castro, it's about time that the President, si Bongbong Marcos, you do something. Do something. It is an emergency already, sabi ni Castro. Saludo din ako, si Madam Castro. Although not everything that she says, I agree. No? I agree. In other issues, no. I don't agree. Like for example, itong impeachment. She is strongly advocating. I totally disagree. Ang dami pa tayo po. Madam Castro, no? Ang dami pa tayong problema sa Pilipinas. Let's forget first itong impeachment ni VP Sara Duterte. No? But when it comes to this kind of issues, she mentioned during her privilege speech, I totally agree with her. Kailangan na kailangan. Sorry lang po. If Congresswoman Castro says something very strong against our President, Bongbong Marcos, but democratic country tayo po. It is our right. It is our right to speak. Wag lang tayo do it physical. It is already a violation. It is already a crime. But to express what we are feeling or how we feel, then we are a democratic country. Remember that. Democratic country tayo po. We can do that. Freedom of speech, freedom of gathering, nandyan po sa Constitution natin. So with this, hanggang dito na lang ang programa natin. And of course, ano ang answer ninyo? If you want to share it with me, just share it. And don't forget to check ang NikTok 21 sa YouTube po. And if you want to replay ang whatever programs that you prefer to, my program you prefer to replay and watch again, feel free po. Feel free. And please support my program. And I will continue on doing this thing, especially as we move forward sa election po, sa election. And very soon, we are going to have the official campaign period po for the senatorial candidates and for the party list. Party list po, isa lang po, kagaya mga overseas Filipino workers, ang qualified voters, we can choose 12 senatorial bets natin plus 1 party list. Ang local campaign period will come after 30 days. It means it will start the February, middle of February siguro yun po, ang official campaign period for senatorial and party list. And then after that, February, March, mag-start na din ang official campaign period para sa local candidates. And to the voters, I would like to remind again, please listen ang mga kandidato sa mga programs, forums, mga debates ng mga kandidato. Take time to listen to them. Kasi mahirap na po if we don't listen to them. Blindly, because of the advice of our friends, our relatives, suportahan natin itong kandidato. And then we did not listen anong plataforma nila and what kind of a leader he or she is. Remember this time, we should know the background itong mga kandidato. Background, kayang-kaya ba siya? Is he the rich? Especially itong mga incumbent. They become politicians from day one. They are nothing. And on the second or third term, you saw them, ang buhay nila, abruptly change. Abruptly change. To James Howe, I would like to say shout out to you and God bless you and thank you very much for watching this program. And of course, from time to time, I will also be giving some news regarding dito po sa Sabah. For example, the other day, last Wednesday, yesterday, mayroon na naman nag-deport mga deportees, Filipino deportees from Lahada to Bonggao, Tawi-Tawi. Something like 130 yata yun. Deportees po, no? Filipino deportees who were caught illegally staying in Sabah. In other words, wala silang proper documents. They violated the Sabah immigration travel requirements po. No? Those who are planning to come to Sabah, please make sure that you are properly documented or you are in possession of the necessary travel documents like passport, and if you're working here, then you must have a work permit para wala kayo po sabihin natin problema po pagdating dito sa Sabah or dito po sa Malaysia. In the meantime, eto na. Si Nico Fabian would like once again to say thank you very much for making me a part of your day today. Malaysia, Sabah, the Philippines, God bless us all. Godspeed. Take good care of yourself and enjoy your Thursday day today. Bye and see you tomorrow.